Have you ever heard about a valuable artwork or antique held by a museum for years suddenly being sold? There's a high possibility that it's been stolen and is now circulating within the network of art and antique smugglers. Once these priceless items are seized, they're commonly resold, yet in many instances, these stolen gems wind up halfway around the globe. Intrigued? Well, that's where the shadowy role of art and antique smugglers comes into play. Smuggling likely traces its origins back to the inception of the very first tax or trade regulation. However, it has evolved to serve a far more sinister purpose. Incredibly, only about 10% of all stolen art is ever recovered, with at least half of it leaving its home country without a trace. Before diving into how smugglers manage to board a plane undetected, let's first explore why they choose to smuggle art across borders. In most instances, artwork and antiques are smuggled out of developing countries, where their true worth might not be fully appreciated. The moment this piece of art breaches the border and steps into another country, its value can skyrocket, doubling, tripling, or sometimes even quadrupling. Smugglers will go to extreme lengths to transport a priceless piece of art or antique to another country. And I'm not exaggerating. If it's a small artifact, they might even swallow it. Imagine this. They encase the item in a condom, and with a gulp of cooking oil, down it goes. Naturally, small items are easier to sneak past authorities than larger pieces like vases or paintings. For paintings, a popular trick is to purchase a suitcase that matches the artwork's dimensions and construct a hidden compartment at the bottom. To an untrained eye, this double bottom is virtually undetectable, with the painting's thickness being the only potential giveaway. However, smuggling vases presents its own unique challenges. Antique vases are crafted from specific materials, and the security personnel can identify an old vase just by shining a light on it, immediately sparking suspicion. If found, they'd quickly check for any recent thefts of similar vases from museums. To overcome this, smugglers often hire experts to craft a new vase around the original, using modern industrial clay. They may even establish a fictitious company and stamp its logo and a serial number at the bottom of the new vase. When security officials look up this vase online, they'll be led to believe it's a common $100 piece being sold by a legitimate company. In this deceptive process, smugglers dodge taxes and scrutiny. Quite a cunning scheme indeed. There's a belief among some people that art can serve as a means to launder illicit money, and unfortunately, there are instances where this holds true. But on the flip side, there are those who deeply appreciate art in its truest sense. When they learn about a valuable piece of art being stolen, it genuinely disheartens them. They are troubled by the thought of such a treasured piece ending up merely as decoration on a wealthy person's shelf, devoid of the emotional connection or appreciation it deserves. Flashback to 1990. The American economy took a staggering $500 million hit due to art theft. The infamous heist that occurred on March 18th of that year is etched in history as the largest art theft ever. Thieves made away with 13 invaluable art pieces from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston, collectively worth a staggering $500 million. Among the stolen treasures was a painting named The Concert by Dutch artist Johannes Vermeer, created about 350 years ago. It's chilling to imagine that masterpiece now hanging on someone's wall. The magnitude of loss and shock when they discovered the world's most valuable stolen painting must have been unimaginable. Now, smuggling might seem appealing if you consider the amount of money involved. Smugglers usually receive an advance payment before they start the job, and the rest is given after they successfully smuggle the piece. The earnings they take home can vary depending on the value of the item they're smuggling. Typically, they earn a commission of about 10% per item. This can indeed add up to quite a sum. But here's the question. Do you think it's worth the risk they're taking? The promise of big money might be tempting, but remember, there's also the threat of long prison sentences. Not quite as appealing now, is it? The rise in art theft inevitably leads to an increase in smuggling cases. The two numbers are directly connected. Smuggling statistics saw a significant surge in the early 2000s, and this can largely be attributed to a notorious group known as the Pink Panthers. This name signifies a global network of thieves, infamous for pulling off some of the most daring heists in the history of organized crime. Their actions have been labeled as some of the most glamorous in criminal history. with one criminologist even going so far as to compare their heists to a form of artistry. Their targets were not limited to jewelry stores. They also prided themselves in stealing pricey paintings and precious antiques. This Balkan-based group was largely behind the spike in smuggling statistics during that period. Their frequent and grand-scale robberies required a substantial network of smugglers to transport their stolen treasures across Europe. Known for their commitment to excellence, their smugglers, incredibly, were never apprehended. Yet, with each heist, each stolen artifact, what's taken isn't just an object of value. It's a fragment of our collective history, spirited away into the shadows of the smuggling world, perhaps never to resurface. So, now I ask you, could you imagine boarding a plane with the Mona Lisa stowed away in your luggage? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. And before you depart, don't forget to press that subscribe button.